It was one of the social events of the year, where high rollers and mega-rich bosses met to raise a small fortune for charity. But the annual President's Club dinner has now been exposed as a seedy orgy of excess, where leering rich men grope scantily clad young hostesses and where prostitutes identified by their towering red heels romp with the wealthy guests. There were also claims of guests exposing themselves and snorting cocaine in the toilets at last Thursday's event in London's Dorchester Hotel. Hostesses said they were routinely mauled, asked to take off their knickers, and offered thousands of pounds to become mistresses. They were encouraged to drink alcohol with the guests, sit on their laps, and even take cigarette breaks with them. One stunned hostess told The Sun how she was made to feel like a prostitute by horrible, seedy men who she said were high on cocaine. The 21-year-old said some girls were offered thousands of pounds to be mistresses. Others were groped, had hands shoved up their skirts, their bottoms fondled, and were repeatedly asked to join the men in the exclusive hotel's bedrooms. One shocked businessman, who has attended the event, said last night, "It's a cesspit." The event is portrayed as a night out to raise a lot of money for good causes, but it's just an upper-class whorehouse. The black-tie, men-only event, attended by 360 wealthy guests, raised £2 million for Great Ormond Street Hospital and the Evelina London Children's Hospital. Up to 130 girls were lined up as hostesses at £150 for the fundraiser, with David Walliams as the master of ceremonies. Many of the hostesses were budding actresses or students, but they were all selected because they were tall, no shorter than 5 feet 6 inches, thin and pretty. They were given black dresses that barely skimmed their bottoms.See, though mesh panels reveal their side boobs and midriff. And they were ordered to take along matching black underwear and sexy, black, high-heeled shoes. Caroline Dandridge, founder of Arista, the agency which hired the hostesses, told the girls, "Some of the guests are fat and ugly, and you may feel uncomfortable. Just tell them you're a naughty boy." Their first duty was to parade on the stage in the Dorchester's ballroom as Power by Little Mix boomed out of the speakers. One said, "When we first went in, all the men were sat at their tables and we had to prance in one by one across the stage, as if we were being chosen or auctioned off. We had to walk across smiling one by one. Not a constant line.It was like you go, then the next in front of around 300 cheering, clapping men. It felt like prostitutes all lining up. It was so seedy. I did not sign up for that." The girls were like, "Oh my God, why are we doing this?" As the night wore on, the hostesses found themselves being treated like playthings. One said, "We were objects for them to go up at, touch.To, be laughed at. The way the men behaved made me feel incredibly uncomfortable. Some of them looked really worried." Another hostess said, "After hair and makeup, I thought this was a classy event. I was wrong. Half the girls were drunk, and groping was de rigueur. Almost everybody there was twice the age of the girls." Another revealed the men were touching their girls' legs, putting their hands up their skirts, and even offered money for sex. Some men there definitely wanted to sleep with the girls. You'd hear comments like, "You're coming back with me tonight." They definitely wanted sex. Any girl was asked if she'd be a guy's mistress for £50,000 a year for 3 visits. There were loads of weird offers like that. Some of the men were just drunk and silly, but others were definitely horrible predators. One 19-year-old was openly asked by a man old enough to be her granddad, "Are you a prostitute?" Another girl claimed a guest flashed his penis to her during the event. A third hostess reported being grabbed by the waist, given a glass of champagne and told, "I want you to down that glass, rip off your knickers and dance on that table." According to one hostess, 5 of the girls wore towering red heels so they could be identified as available for extra duties. She said the inference is they were hookers, available for sex. During the night there were numerous girls going to rooms with men. In previous years girls with extra duties wore red sashes or belts, but this year they had red shoes. Later, 3 older women dressed in bright red dresses, clearly escorts, according to one hostess, arrived to work the after party. Last night, a hostess told ITV News they were acting very provocatively around the men. Kissing men almost instantly. It was really shocking to see. The girls were assigned tables and told to get involved with the men. Those seen spending too long away, even to go to the toilet, were dragged back to work. One said, "They said it was our job to be engaging with the men and not standing and huddling on our own." Caroline had about 8 or 9 men and women in suits who were working for her who'd come and tell us off. They'd nudge us, telling us to get involved. The girls were told to keep supplying the men with glasses of champagne, whiskey and vodka. On stage, dancers in red military outfits had their bare boobs on display as guests drank and dined on smoked salmon. Businessman and restaurateur Jimmy Lahid, 67, was reportedly seen dancing enthusiastically with 3 young women in red dresses. Also among the well-heeled guests were Dragon's Den tycoon Peter Jones and chef Gino D'Acampo, but there is no suggestion they behaved inappropriately. At 10 p.m., the hostesses took a break as the main event of the night, a charity auction billed as the most un-PC event of the year, got underway. Among the lots was a course of plastic surgery. As bidding started, a model with enhanced boobs came onto the stage shouting, "Your wife could look like me." A lap dancing night for 250 guests at Soho's Windmill Strip Club was also on offer. Lots also included a Land Rover, a Tesla car and the chance to have your name as a character in David Walliams' next children's book. After the auction, the girls were herded back until midnight before moving on to an after-party in a smaller room next door. The hostesses said they were encouraged to drink as much as they liked. Any of them added people were doing coke. One of the men asked me if I knew how they could get it. I said I didn't know. They went outside to get it. There was lots of talk of it, and people were doing it in the toilets. They weren't snorting it off the table or whatever, but it was being done subtly. But nearly a week after the event they had still not been paid. Financial Times reporter Madison Marriage, who went undercover to expose the scandal, said it was shocking and surprising to see it still going on in this day and age. All 130 hostesses at the ball had to be thin, pretty and at least 5 feet 6 inches tall, with matching black bras, undies and stilettos. They had their hair and makeup done professionally beforehand, and each wore a skimpy black dress, like the one posed in by our model. A see-though mesh panel also showed off the girls' side boobs, and midriff.5 wore red stilettos for extra duties.